The 12th of August 2021 is the day my life changed forever. So a bit of a different video today. Obviously this is a running channel and it's also a baby loss channel since I lost my daughter Margot on the 15th of August 2021, so just over 5 months ago now. Now, I'll be honest, I've not touched on too much of the baby loss side of things in the last few videos and losing Margot because it was quite raw. But since November, December's passed, since we got over our first Christmas, actually I'm feeling a lot more positive, and I think it's about time I start to open up a bit more and start to put out there, what I've learned and what I can hopefully share with you who might be going through this. And as I always say, I'm sorry if you are, but what you might be able to learn from, so things aren't as scary and aren't as frightening for you if you're sadly going through what myself and my wife went through in August. And I suppose there's no real better way than to start at the beginning, I guess. And to do that, I need to go back to the 12th of August 2021. So the 12th of August 2021 is the day my life changed forever. I've briefly touched on what occurred in my first ever video, but we went to a routine midwife appointment, or just pretty much expecting the midwife to turn around and say, oh, Stephanie might be in labour, or Margot is going to be here any minute now. We pulled up to the car park. Stephanie got out. It was COVID, so I couldn't go in. So my mother-in-law and I, Stephanie's mum and I, waited in the car while Stephanie went in to the doctor's, and she was in there for about 10 minutes with the midwife. I just remember a song by Ed Sheeran was on the radio. I'll never forget it. And I just waited, and I was, I'll stay to this day, I was so excited. And, one thing no one ever teaches you about baby loss and things is you just don't expect it. And even when it's happened, you don't believe it. So after about 10 minutes, our midwife came running out, and she said, I can't find your baby's heartbeat. And they say, what do you feel in them sort of moments? And honestly, I don't know. I don't know what I felt. I just remember looking back on it, we got told to go to the main hospital, and the main road, what links that doctor's and the motorway, what we needed to get on, was blocked. So I ended up driving round and round, trying to skip this traffic and getting so frustrated just because I just wanted to get there. About half an hour later, we got there, and, as Stephanie's husband, as Margot's dad, I didn't know what to think. My main concern was them, and it always will be, and it always was, and always will be. We got to the hospital and we got put into a room. Now, this room was a normal delivery scan room, it's just a box room. And they said, Stephanie, can you sit down and lay down on the table? To which she did. And she said, Joe, can you sit down on this chair, or feel free to sit down, Dad, while they look for baby's heartbeat. And they said the question, do you want to look? Now, obviously, when anyone's ever been to a scan before, that's the first thing you want to do. You want to look, you want to see your baby's heart, you want to see her on the screen, him on the screen. You know what? I can't even remember if I said yes or no. I don't know if I looked at that screen. I think Stephanie was just staring at my reaction to hope I could see some glee. And I remember, I don't know why, when the scanner or Doppler was on Stephanie's stomach, I saw a flash of red and blue. And obviously that must have been something from Stephanie, her body, the vein and blood pumping. And I remember just a tiniest smile. I don't even know if it showed on my face came out. And I thought she was okay for about half a second. And I know people say, oh, you can't think half a second, but I promise you, time moves so slowly in them moments. And that's when we were told, I'm so sorry, your baby's died, or there's no heartbeat. And in that situation, they then go to get another midwife to confirm, which is just a horrible experience, let's be honest. It's just making sure they've not made a mistake, or they've forgot their glasses that day or something. And then your life changed forever, I guess. all your hopes, your dreams, your ambitions, what you work for, what you try hard for, all your love just changes in the minute, in the space of a second. And, people say don't take life for granted, and it's something that obviously I've come to learn over the past few months, that life can literally change for you at any moment. We weren't even a potential day away from our world being fantastic and Margot being here. And then after we came out of that scan room, we got put into a little room. Let's be honest, it's probably better referred to as a bad news room, in which you're just trying to keep it together. This is a channel for myself as a dad to put forward how I feel. And at that moment in time, I couldn't think. I couldn't think straight. I don't even know if I could cry. And I just wanted to make sure Stephanie was okay. She was never going to be okay. The bereavement midwife, so it changes from a normal midwife to a bereavement midwife, came in and started just, offering their condolences and things, but it's obviously nice, but you don't care for her at that time, I'll be honest. And they start asking questions, do you want to then, speaking to Stephanie about, do you want to give birth naturally? Do you want a C-section? Bear in mind, half an hour ago, we were laughing and joking, expecting our daughter to come home, and now my wife's going to make that decision of whether she wants to give birth naturally to our daughter who's passed away or have a C-section. And Stephanie's instant response was C-section. And I think that was because the thought of giving birth to Margot, who wasn't going to be alive, was just so much within that. We're not talking about this is a 20-day decision. This is a 20-second decision. So we were there for a couple of hours. Stephanie and I, we spoke about it, just in an absolute blaze. I remember looking out the hospital window on the left and looking up, and it's just a huge tower block full of flats, and it's not the most nicest place. Not that there could ever be a nice place, let's be honest. And they came in. They, just for anyone who's wondering, they give you like an induction pill just to try and then bring labour on. So Stephanie had to take that, and that was on the, I gotta get my days right. Sorry, that was on the Thursday. The Friday passed, Stephanie started to get some feelings, and then on Saturday she went into labour actually naturally. And it was about 6 p.m, I think, and it was a sunny day, and we were sat in the garden, and Stephanie was on the chair, just being an absolute warrior, just going through these. We were thinking, are these contractions, are they not? And I remember Stephanie's mum, my mother-in-law, was here, and we were walking around, and I went into the kitchen, and I said to my mother-in-law, do you think it's going to be tonight? And that's the first time she turned around and said, yeah. Oh, my heart dropped. Honestly, I was like, what do you expect? What do you do? My main concern is just making sure Stephanie's healthy, and making sure that this goes as well as it can, when your daughter's died. And we just stayed at home then for a couple of hours until the contractions got close together. It was about 9 p.m. We tried to ring the hospital, but nobody picked the phone up. So we ended up just driving there. It was about half an hour away, and as soon as we got there, we got taken to a maternity unit. One thing, if anyone works in the hospital trade, and watches these, then one thing I would probably advise, and a lesson learnt from our situation, is if you know that your patient on their records, babies died, don't put them in a room surrounded by babies' heartbeats. It's not ideal. It's not ideal for anyone. But then we got took up to delivery suite, and that's when labour started, I guess. And I'll touch through our birthing story on another video, but that's how the days when we found out went, and the day my life changed forever. Now we're 5.5 months on now. 5.5 months of the toughest times of my life, but in a lot stronger place mentally than I was as a dad back then. All I wanted to do through the first few months was just to protect Stephanie and protect my family. And so I just went it alone. Just had to battle through this on my own, as any I think typical bloke does, try to be that macho man. I would just go in the garage or go on a walk and just cry by myself, and then come back and pretend I'm, and I hate the word now, but okay. And then since then, a couple of months ago, I had a bit of a rough time, and realised that I can't keep pretending that I'm okay at times, and I accepted that it was okay to be down, and just battled through on my own to keep pushing forward, making sure Stephanie's okay, which is my main priority, and getting through it. So that was the sort of days leading up to when we found out, obviously, Margot had died. There were the days that my life changed forever, and the days that my life will no longer ever be the same. But through every horrible patch of life has to come something good, and you have to keep remembering that. And I'll never forget them days for the rest of my life. It's a bit of a different video today. I want to start expanding on our story a little bit. Now I'm in a better place and not just trying to figure things out myself, I guess. And I wanted to go through how I found it, how I find it as a dad, how Stephanie found it as a mum to Margot. And any dads out there watching this, please share your stories below, or if you're going through it at the same time, you're going to naturally want to try and be strong, but look after yourself as well. And any mums out there, I hope you're okay, and I hope you're managing to get through. I'm 5.5 months down, and it does get better. Better's the wrong word actually, but it does get a bit easier to live with. And hopefully one day we can look back on these videos and realise that Margot's got a brother or sister down the line who, she paved the way to help so many mums and dads who were going through the same thing. It's a bit more of a candid video from me today. So if you do like these videos and want to share your story or carry on supporting the journey, then please subscribe, please comment below, and please like the video to help these reach as many people as I can. But that was the story of the few days leading up to Margot's birth. Quite proud of myself for getting through that without crying, to be honest.